To all Black women of America, I want to express my heartfelt apology for the role that many white Americans, including white women, played in electing Donald Trump. I recognize the pain and frustration that this has caused in Black communities and the ways this outcome has undermined the rights, the safety, and the dignity of so many, especially Black women. I understand that Black women have long fought for justice and equity, not just for themselves, but for all marginalized communities. And your commitment to truth, resilience, and progress is truly inspiring. As a white person, I'm aware that part of my responsibility is to listen, learn, and actively challenge systems that harm and marginalize. And it's clear that actions speak louder than words. I'm still committed to doing the work necessary to help build a future where all voices are heard and respected. Thank you for your continued strength and leadership. I'm committed to being an ally and creating positive, lasting changes so that we can all live equally in this country. To all of the white women who let everyone else down, check back with me in 4 years. I'm sorry for your daughters. I'm sorry for your sisters that you made a choice to vote a convicted criminal into the presidency. You complain about crime committed by people who came to this country to seek a new life, but you weren't worried about putting a criminal in office again. You must be aware that he's about to use his power to save himself and to save every insurrectionist who was sentenced as a result of the insurrection. You are truly about to see what misuse of power looks like.
What I won't do is pretend that I understand your pain, Black women. What I won't do is pretend that I've been through that pain. What I won't do is pretend that it's not real. But what I will do is constantly stand up for you and constantly raise my daughter, which is a Black queen, to know what this world is capable of and to know how to do better. So, like I said, if I disrespected anybody by me wearing braids, that's never my intention. Yes, I do know that your ancestors wore braids to hide dried rice and seeds to be able to feed their children during slavery. Yes, I do know that African culture also wore different braids to identify what clans they belong to. I know about the Black culture. I grew up in it. I come from a Black foster home. This is all I know. Don't judge me either.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, kindly consider subscribing. Now let's talk about something that's been making waves online. As you know, for a long time, Black women have been speaking up, standing strong and fighting for justice. But too often, their voices went unheard. Well, it finally looks like some white women are ready to have that conversation. As a matter of fact, they're recognizing that when Black women spoke out, they should have listened. And they're also admitting that they once dismissed the struggles and they also ignored the warnings or stayed silent when it mattered the most. But now, they're saying, we hear you, we see you, and we are ready to stand with you. So before we move forward, let's take a moment to watch these clips. Trust me, you won't want to miss them. Then I'll be back to continue this conversation.
White women, Asian women, and Latin women, it is time to get uncomfortable. If you're not already loudly anti-racist, now is the time to start, and quickly, within your family, within your friend circles, wherever. Loudly protect Black women, loudly defend Black women. Why, Jenny? Because once we all start protecting Black women, then our country will get better because we will start to make real impactful changes. Black women are the least hurt in our society for a reason. We know it's not because they're not intelligent. They're highly intelligent. They're highly capable. They're multifaceted, multi-talented, diverse, versatile. We could go on. The list does go on. But because of all those reasons and because of how aware they are of exactly what our government and our system is as a collective, this is why they are collectively oppressed.
Welcome back to another episode of A White Woman Talks About Race Because Black Women Are Tired. The comment reads, I think it would be cool if we heard this from them instead of a white woman speaking for them. And I agree. I wish we were hearing this from them, but we're not listening. And since we're not listening, you're stuck listening to me. Black women have spent years and decades and lives and centuries trying to educate us, trying to fight for us, the collective us, and we have not been listening to them. As a white woman, if I am ever caught speaking over Black women, I hope you will call me out and call me out swiftly. However, I think that there is a difference between speaking over Black women versus expecting Black women to continue to do the labor of educating us when they have been saying the same thing for decades and we haven't been listening. It is time for us to stop relying on their labor and to bring the conversation back home, to start having it amongst ourselves, to start having it within our community, and to start having it within ourselves. Because if we pay attention to what Black women have been saying, then we would recognize that blue bracelets are the same as we understand the assignment. They're the same as putting a black square on Instagram. If we've been listening to Black women, then we don't need them to step in and tell us that we're doing the same damn thing. And again, we should never speak over Black women on Black issues. But as white women, we need to be talking about white issues. And racism is a white issue. It is a white thing. We are the ones doing it. We are the ones perpetuating it. We need to start having these conversations in ways that aren't just shame circles that feel a lot like an AA meeting. We need to just be talking about it woman to woman, talking about it frankly, talking about it without immediately putting up walls of defense. Racism is a white issue. We cannot rely solely on Black women and Black educators to solve the issue of race. In fact, we can't rely on them at all because they're not the issue. We are. So we need to start relying on ourselves. We need to start taking the burden off of them to educate us and look at all of the educating that they've already done and start listening to it, start talking amongst each other about it. Because if we constantly wait for them to educate us and then we don't listen when they do, we're not moving anywhere. We're not helping anyone. We're not being the solidarity that we think we are. In the same way that we cannot solve issues of sexism and sexual assault until men start having conversations and holding each other accountable for the actions that they are doing, we cannot make any difference until we start holding each other accountable and calling others out before Black women have to get involved and call us out, right? A man does not have to wait for a woman to say, hey, that was a rape joke, that's inappropriate, for a man to step in and call it out. We understand that. So why do we think that the same is not true amongst ourselves when we're talking about race and how we inflict racism on Black women?
I pray to God that this does not come off as offensive to anybody, because I mean this with the utmost love and respect from the bottom of my whole entire heart. But when a Black woman calls me baby, there is so much, what kind of magic are you putting in there? Because that shit hits harder than crack. Every single time, every encounter in my life that I have had with a Black woman where she calls me baby, I have never felt more loved and supported in my entire life. I feel almost imprinted on. Like, are you my mother? I will go to the ends of the earth for that woman. Okay, ride or die, because it may have just been a very quick one-time encounter for her, but for me, you don't understand. We're like this. How, call me, beat me if you gotta reach me, because I will do whatever. How can I be of service? Do you need a ride to church? Let me make reparations for my people, because I love you. And I don't know what it is, but goddamn, there's something so special about it. It's magic. I want to have that effect on people. That is beautiful. And I love you. And that's it. I don't know. I've never felt more safe and secure in my life. I love you.
This is so important. I used the term women of color in my last few videos, and while the terms people of color, women of color can be helpful, they run the risk of conflating our very different experiences. Black women obviously have a very distinct experience with unpaid labor, undervalued labor because of the history of, slavery. And that is very different from my experience as an Asian woman. And so while we can all have a laugh as people of the global majority about the nonsense of white feminism, it's important to remember how we experience these systems very differently. And so I leave you all with a quote from Alicia Garza, one of the Black feminist founders of the Black Lives Matter movement. She wrote, "We perpetuate a level of white supremacist domination by reproducing a tired trope that we are all the same, rather than acknowledging that non-Black oppressed people in this country are both impacted by racism and domination and simultaneously benefit from anti-Black racism."
Now, let's take a moment to acknowledge just how significant this shift really is, because for years, Black women have been at the forefront of pushing for justice and equality. And often there was little to no support from their white counterparts. So it's not just about the apologies, it's about what comes next. And actually, it's encouraging to see some white women finally come to the realization that Black women weren't just speaking out for no reason. For so long, they've been sharing their struggles, their pain, and their fight for justice. And now it seems these white women are truly starting to understand. So moving forward, the ball is in their court, and it's time for white women to step up and do what is required, because the work isn't finished yet. And as from now, this is the moment to show they are ready to support Black women in meaningful ways. But let's be clear, this isn't about supporting the system that failed. It's actually about standing with Black women who have been fighting for justice for so long. And it's very crucial that those who have had the privilege of being silent, now they should use their voices for what is right. Anyway, that is just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more conversations like this. Also, turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next one. Bye.